Good morning, everybody.
Good morning, everybody.
Welcome to Andover Baptist Church online. You are welcomed by the two Chris's. I am Chris, and this is Chris. So we are loving the fact that you are joining us this morning. I work on all things creative and communications-y, and the other Chris, we're going to say the more important Chris, because he's my boss, is the senior Chris, we'll call him.
No, don't do that either.
Chris, what do you do around here?
So I am the senior minister of the church, so I get to lead our amazing staff team, 8, 9 staff people on the team,
Indeed,
which is great. And I get to work with, we have this group called the elders who help us set vision for the church. And then we have this group called our leaders team, our trustees, who kind of manage the life of the church. So I get to chair those teams and kind of help lead those, although they're strong teams that don't need a lot of leading. So that's great. So that's
excellent.
Part of what I do.
Wonderful.
So,
We hope you're having a good morning this morning, whatever that has looked like. We've done one service already here in the building, and we're just ramping up for our next one. So we call this slot the 10 before our next service starts. So we're going to have a chit chat, welcome you on the live chat. I can see that Joyce has already joined us on the live chat. So
morning,
welcome,
Joyce.
She is early. She's saying she's early for once. I'm sure we wouldn't know, Joyce. You don't need to come clean about that because we wouldn't know. But we love the fact that you're with us, Joyce. So please let us know on the live chat, all of you lurkers, 13 other lurkers in the internet universe.
Because that's what you want to do with our audience. Start calling them rude names. That's a great strategy for keeping.
Lurkers is a great name. A few things to talk about this morning. We're in the middle of a series this morning called Better Together, where we are talking about intergenerational stuff, our community, what that looks like, how we can flourish as a multi-generational community. I'm sure that you, just like us, have heard so many stories and anecdotes all around the world of different ages, different generations, coming up against each other, and friction and difficulty, and the boomers say that the millennials are lazy, and the millennials say that the boomers are too high intense. So we long for a church that does multi-generational community well. So that is what we're focusing on at the moment. Secondly, I want to talk about the fact that you've just come back, haven't you? Yes.
So I have had 6 or 7 weeks of not being here in the office. So started with a couple of weeks holiday.
Yes.
So we were up in the Lake District, which, as many people who are regular with us will know, is a particular spot for us that we love, hiking and mountain climbing and all that sort of stuff. And then straight from there into 4 weeks of study leave, it's called. So a lot of church leaders would have something called a sabbatical. It's a little bit odd, really, particularly if you're not in the church world. So every 7 years, they would have 3 months to sort of refresh, recharge, study, all that kind of stuff. Well, that's never been attractive to me as an idea. I would miss everybody too much and all that kind of stuff. So I do this thing, or have been my pattern to try and do this thing of every 2 years, having 4 weeks of, we call it study leave. So it's an opportunity just to do some things that I wouldn't get to do in the regular humdrum of leading the church. So to step back, do a bit of reading, planning, thinking, reflecting, thinking about what could be for the next 3 years, what our preaching plan might be for next year, all of that sort of stuff. So that's what I've been doing. I haven't done it for a while because of COVID and then various other things. So first time for 4 or 5 years that I've done it. And it was just wonderful. And I'm so grateful to everybody who made it possible. You, Alex, Becky, Ivan, great. The whole team made it possible and sort of covered and more than covered, did an amazing job while I was off. So I'm so appreciative of that. I've come back feeling really recharged, refreshed, and having read more than I've ever read on study leave before, so I feel really good about that. Lots of new ideas. So
we've heard all about Chris's new ideas. So when he comes back, when Chris has had some time away to plan and dream, we hear about it when he gets back.
Yeah, you haven't heard anything yet, I promise you. So it's all coming.
So we're excited about where that's going to go, which is really cool. Really cool. We have a question for everyone in the live chat today, and our question is this: do you like working alone, or as a team?
Mm.
Because I think broadly you're going to expand on this later on, Chris, in your talk. I think broadly we fit into kind of two-ish camps of the people that like working in teams and the people who prefer to work on their own. We're watching a program at home at the moment called Survivor.
Oh, yes, yes.
It's like a reality show where they dump a bunch of people on an island and split them into teams, and they have to do challenges, but one of them will win at the end.
Right.
So they kind of have to work in a team, but then they also have to think about their own game plan, and it's really interesting, actually.
Yes.
I find it really fascinating how they sort of coexist as a team and work together, but then also have to work on their own.
Yes.
So we're gonna sort of explore this theme this morning, aren't we?
Yes.
About working in teams versus being on your own.
Yeah.
What that looks like and how that works in life.
Yes.
But we would love to know, are you a person that loves working alone or working in a team, generally speaking? What is that for you?
Yes, well, I was just going to add, are you the kind of person that when they announce a group project at the thing that you're at, the conference, the work event, whatever, your heart goes, yay, or you go, oh, I can't believe it. I really don't want to do that. Yeah. So, yes, I'm probably a little bit of both, really. I'm actually very happy with my own company, which a lot of people don't believe about me, but I actually like having a couple of weeks to just be on my own, really, and reflect and think and pray and read and all that. That's a joy for me.
Yes.
Much longer than that, I think I'd go spare. But I love our team here. I'm forever grateful. Lots of church leaders. They're the sole minister or staff member in their church, and that can be quite a lonely existence, I think. And I'm really so blessed that all my church leadership life I've been part of team, and so I love all of that. I think probably the thing I struggle a bit with is if I'm thrown together in a team with people I don't know, and then you have that thing of who's going to lead, who needs to say the first things and all that kind of stuff. If it's with people that I know, then I love it. I absolutely love it, and I'd much rather do work and life together. But what we're going to talk about this morning is actually, however we feel about group projects, we do need other people in our life. We need other people to do life with, we need that with our peers, but we also need that cross generations as well. So, and what about you? What's up?
I think I was just trying to think. Well, I was like, "What's my answer?" I think it depends what I'm working on.
Yeah.
I think sometimes I think it's important that sometimes you have a little bit of space to process, because I'm an internal processor rather than an external processor. So I think I like to process things in my own brain, but then I'm very team. I'm very sort of bounce ideas off, have ideas, come to a conclusion together. Because there's the old saying, more brains is better than one brains, or something. I'm sure there's a saying around there somewhere. 2 brains is better than 1 brain. I don't know. But yeah, definitely team stuff. I love that, absolutely. But you're right, there can sometimes be that awkward moment. I'm sure we've all had those Zoom things where you go onto a Zoom and they're like, now we're going to break into breakout rooms, and you're like, oh, please no, don't do that.
I've forgotten that, but it's even worse on Zoom. If you're not a breakout group kind of person, on Zoom is even worse.
Exactly. The Zoom thing, definitely. So just to let you know the things that are coming up during our service this morning, Alex, the wonderful Alex P, will be hosting in the main hall. So she'll be hosting our service through. We'll be singing some songs together, led by Andy in the band, and Chris, as we've heard, will be bringing us the next part in our series, Better Together. And the title of that is Doing Life Together, isn't it?
It is.
Focusing on that today, which is very cool.
Yes.
Hello to Debbie in the live chat. Hello. Thank you for joining us. We've got about 2 or so-ish minutes until things fire up in the main hall. Yes. So you've also been away out of the country, haven't you?
Yes, I got on study leave. I got to a couple of things. One that was very last minute and I wasn't planning on, and one that was been planned for a long time. So I went to America for 3 days, which was ridiculous, really. So 3 or 4 days to a conference with a network that we're a part of. Was hosting a global conference, and I got asked by our network here in the UK to go to that quite last minute, and that was amazing. So great conference. You'd have loved it. We visited a place called called Trilith Studios in Georgia, Atlanta,
Yep.
which is where they shoot all the Marvel movies.
Oh.
So we went there and met the head of the Trilith Studios, all that. So that was really cool.
Very cool.
And then the last week, so got back on Wednesday, I was in Sierra Leone for a week, which is a place I've been to a lot, but not for 6 years. We have partners out there as a church now, doing some amazing work. It's one of the poorest countries in the world, so it absolutely breaks your heart because it's, all around you is just desperate poverty, but it also fills you with just total joy because the people and the hope and it's just the most incredible place, and I love it. It's always in my heart, and my friend Abs does an incredible work with disabled young people there, and we're linked up with a church called Regent Road Baptist Church.
Amazing.
Which is the oldest Baptist church in Africa, and they're a partner, so it was great to visit them, be with them last Sunday. So it was amazing, and I was so pleased I got to be with Martin, one of our elders here, who grew up in West Africa and Nigeria. He came with me, which was amazing, and another friend of ours from another church called Paul. So it was a fabulous trip, but
Excellent.
Heartbreaking too, if that's possible.
Course. Absolutely.
Yeah, it was
now,
great.
just before we go into the main hall, I just want to give a special shout out to somebody who is in fact running our live stream today. So we are giving a big shout out to Harry, who is running. He's one of our young people in our summit group, and he is absolutely doing a great job this morning running our live stream. So if you pop in the chat, great job, Harry. But over to the main hall now.
Everybody. Good morning and welcome to Andover Baptist Church. My name is Alex and I'm one of the ministers here. And whether you're here on site with us or joining us online, it's great to have you with us. I just want to give a special shout out if anyone is here or connecting with us for the very first time today. You're so welcome with us. Please don't leave if you're on site without chatting to one of our team. You can see in the coloured t-shirts. And please pick up a welcome pack, or one of us will give it to you with some information about what we do here, but also, more importantly, a little card in there, a Costa card, so you can go and get a coffee on us. And obviously, if you're connecting online for the first time, why not put something in the live chat or contact us via our website or our Facebook group. So we're going to be together today for just over an hour. We're going to have some time. We're going to listen to some songs in that time, so feel free to sing along or join in however you want. We'll have some time for prayer and reflection. And we're going to be hearing from Chris Porter, who is our senior minister, and he's going to be giving the next talk in the series that we're on at the moment that's called Better Together. And this is an amazing series. We're really excited about it because it's all about how we can learn to love and respect across the generations and the amazing opportunity and challenge that there is in trying to work intergenerationally. So we're really excited because Chris Porter, our senior minister, has actually been away recently. If you're part of our church community, you'll know that he's been on study leave. And actually last week, he was in Sierra Leone with one of our elders visiting some people that we partner with in Sierra Leone. And we're all really excited that he's back, first of all, but also to hear about what he's got up to whilst he has been away. So he's going to be coming up a little bit later on. And Chris is going to be talking all about how faith is actually a communal activity. So taking steps in our journey of faith is something that we should do together across generations, and we should go and try and do life together, supporting one another. And as well as looking at that today, we're actually going to focus on something up front in our service. And that is something that we value here at ABC, that we think is really important, and also links into this idea of doing faith and doing life together. And that is safeguarding. And we believe here at ABC that having a church and a place where people can come, explore faith, connect together, and feel safe is so important. And actually, today is a day when many churches across the UK will focus on this. It's called a Safeguarding Sunday. So we want to honour that, and we're going to watch a short video that talks all about that so we can just really find out what that really should mean in the context of doing life together, coming to church, and also exploring faith. And after the video, I'm going to invite up one of our own safeguarding team and have a chat with her.
The church is called to share the good news and to be good news for all, including children and the most vulnerable in our society. The Christian faith affirms the value of every human being, and it is vital that all those in positions of responsibility and authority are entirely trustworthy to uphold these positions. It's not just a matter of what the church thinks about this. Important as that is, the church and the law agree that safeguarding is central to every part of our life together. When it comes to the well-being of our children and adults at risk, we have a moral, legal and ethical responsibility to care for each other. From the church's perspective, a safeguarding vision is about the law. It also starts with the gospel, the good news of Jesus Christ. The good news and safeguarding come together in these areas. 1. Values and theology. 2. The Bible. And 3. Our Christian mission. Values and theology. We believe in the dignity and worth of every person. All are created by and loved by God. Christians are called into a community that is welcoming and hospitable to all, including children and the most vulnerable. Christian communities offer, as God offers us all, safety, security, protection, help, not harm, love, not fear, peace, and human flourishing. So in reality, if it's not safe, then it's not the church. The Bible. Throughout the Bible, God is said to protect the vulnerable and demands that we do the same. God defends the cause of the orphan and the widow. A father to the fatherless, a defender of widows is God in his holy dwelling. God offers us safety and a freedom from harm. The church, by the same token, offers both safety and freedom for those it serves. It's like that verse, Proverbs 18:10. The name of the Lord is a strong tower. The righteous run to it and are safe. The church is a safe place, a place of trust, a place of joy and of freedom and of honesty and accountability. Jesus calls us to be honest and to believe in accountability because God is about honesty and accountability. And he's about freedom, trust, joy, and safety. Remember, if it isn't safe, it isn't the church. Our mission. We have no good news to share if we aren't a safe place. The ethos or quality of the church's life is its strongest witness. The strongest display of the good news that the church can make is what kind of environment it fosters. When we embody a safe place at every turn, a place of hope and security, then, and only then, we can talk about God as safe, as a giver of hope and security. Remember, if it isn't safe, it isn't the church.
Great video. I think we'll all agree it's really helpful to have it put into such clear words there. So I'm going to invite up to the stage now Caroline. And Caroline is on part of our safeguarding team. So welcome up, Caroline.
Good morning.
Good morning. It's great to have you with us. There's some lovely pictures of our safeguarding team up on the screen at the moment. So Caroline, could you just tell us a little bit about what your role in the team is and what that means?
So I am one of the designated adult safeguarding leads, along with Fraser. And it means we lead on the safeguarding for the church.
Amazing. And we had Paula at our earlier service today, and Paula's on the kids and youth side with Duncan. So just for everyone's awareness that our team is split into two sides, isn't it, which is really important. So Caroline, could you just explain a little bit about what we do as a church to keep people safe?
So we do lots of different things, but some of the key things we do is with our staff and our volunteers, when we recruit people, we follow a safer recruitment policy. So that involves asking people to fill in an application form, taking up references, doing DBS checks where they're relevant. We also maintain safeguarding policies and procedures, and that informs how we carry out all the different activities in the church, so both in person and online. We also have, obviously, the 4 of us as safeguarding leads who are available for anyone to come to if they have a concern about someone's safety. And so we're available at any point for people to contact us. And the last thing, I think one of the main things we do is we keep safeguarding as a really relevant topic for everyone and make sure the whole church is involved in it.
Brilliant, thank you. And I know that as a safeguarding team, you do it. There's a lot of work, isn't there, around policies and all of those things.
Yes.
And actually, all of our safeguarding policies are on our website, so anyone can access them. And I think it's also really important to say that we have an external organisation called 318 who support us with our safeguarding, don't they? Can you say anything a little bit about them as an external sort of organisation and support to us?
just that they're a really helpful resource who support us as a safeguarding team. So, yeah, we're really grateful for them being there.
Great, thank you. I may be about to have a coughing fit, so I'm going to hand over shortly. So, Caroline, please say, what should somebody do if they have a safeguarding issue or concern that they would like to sort of raise or report?
Yep, so if you have an issue or concern, please get in touch with one of the four of us, the team. So our email addresses and phone numbers are available on the website or on Church Suite. Or if you don't have access to any of that, you can contact the church office and ask to have our contact details given to you, or they can pass your details on to us and we can contact you, or you can find us around the church on a Sunday morning. Any of those ways, just come and find us.
Brilliant. And finally, why is it important to have a culture, particularly in a church, where people feel empowered and also safe to report any concerns or issues that they have?
Because we want to keep people really safe when they're with us as a church. And also, we're a large church, and so we need everyone to be involved in safeguarding, because the four of us, we need you to tell us if there's a concern, or so we can have a look at it and, respond appropriately. So, yeah.
Yeah, thank you. And actually, as Paul and I were chatting in the earlier service, she mentioned how safeguarding is everybody's responsibility, and we want to cultivate a culture where we all know that. And I think there's a sort of, the advice is that even if you have a niggle or something, it's better to come and speak about it, report it, whatever you need to do, rather than hold on to that. Is that right?
Absolutely. If you're not sure, but if it doesn't feel quite right, just come and have a conversation with us, and we'll be really happy to chat things through. So, yeah.
Thank you so much, Caroline. I wanted to say on behalf of our church community here, a massive thank you to yourself, to Fraser, Paula, and Duncan. So let's just give them a big round of applause for all that you guys do. Thank you. It is amazing work. No, stay. I'd love to just pray for Paula and the team and also for our community. And after that, we're going to have a time of sung worship. So let's pray together. Loving God, we thank you that you are a God of justice, that you are a God who seeks freedom and peace. Lord, we believe your heart is that churches are places where people can come and encounter you and be safe, to know that you are that protective parent in their life, that you are the creator God. I thank you for the team we have, Lord, to oversee safeguarding and all that they do here. Lord, bless them, help them in all they do, Lord, and help us to be a safe and happy and fun environment, Lord. And as a family, Lord, that seek your heart and your will, and that journey together, that do life together in the safest way possible. Amen. Great. So for those of you on site, if you're willing and you're able, please stand as we're going to sing some songs and worship God together.
Sorry, we're just having some issues with our words because we've got nothing to sing on. Is Georgie around just to see if we can sort that out? 'Cause otherwise we'll just play the intro again, shall we? There we go. Praise in the valley, praise on the mountain, praise when I'm sure, praise when I'm doubting, praise when outnumbered, praise when surrounded. Praise is the weapon my enemies run from. As long as I'm breathing, I've got a reason to praise the Lord, oh my soul. Praise the Lord, oh my soul. I praise when I feel it, praise when I don't. I praise 'cause I know you're still in control. My praise is a weapon soul. Praise 'cause you're sovereign, praise 'cause you reign, praise 'cause you rose and defeated the grave, praise 'cause you're faithful, praise 'cause you're true, praise 'cause there's nobody greater than you, praise 'cause you're sovereign, praise 'cause you reign, praise 'cause you rose and defeated the grave, praise 'cause you're faithful, praise 'cause you're true, praise 'cause there's nobody greater than you. Praise the Lord, oh my soul. 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 Oh, I won't be quiet, my God is alive. How could I keep it inside? Oh, I won't be quiet, my God is alive. How could I keep it inside? Oh, I won't be quiet, my God is alive. How could I keep it inside? Praise the Lord, oh my soul. Let praise be a weapon that silences the enemy. Let praise be a weapon that conquers all anxiety. So let it rise. Let praise arise. We'll sing your name in the dark and it changes everything. We'll sing with all we are and we claim your victory. So let it rise. Let praise arise. We'll see you break down every wall. We'll watch the giants fall. We cannot survive when we praise you. The God of breakthroughs on our side, forever lifted high. With all creation cry, God, we praise you. Whoa, 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 whoa. We praise you. Whoa, 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 whoa. Let faith be the song that overcomes the raging sea. And let faith be the song that calms the storm inside of me. So let it rise. Let faith arise. We'll see you break down every wall. We'll watch the giants fall. They cannot survive when we praise you. The God of breakthroughs on our side, forever lifted high. With all creation cry, God, we praise you. Whoa, 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 whoa. We praise you. Whoa, 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 whoa. We praise you. Whoa, 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 whoa. We praise you. Whoa, 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 whoa. 'Cause this is what living looks like. This is what freedom feels like. This is what heaven sounds like. We praise you, we praise you. This is what living looks like. This is what freedom feels like. This is what heaven sounds like. We praise you, watch the giants fall. They cannot survive when we praise you. The God of breakthroughs on our side, forever lifted high. With all creation crying out, we praise you. Yes, Lord, we praise you here this morning, Lord. Thank you that you are here. You are amongst us. Thank you that you are worthy of the praise that we bring. And Lord, we pray that we will continue to rest in your presence here this morning, Lord. May we continue to praise and worship you, and may you speak to each and every one of us. Amen.
Thank you. Please take your seats if you're on site. It's great to have those songs, isn't it? Just to take our focus and shift off perhaps things going on in our own life, to bring it to God, the one who is bigger than anything we're going through, bigger than our problems. So I hope we all get that opportunity to really encounter what God wants to say to us today. So for those of you, I think they've already left, who are in our summit group, have a great time. Please follow those in the orange t-shirts out. And for the rest of us, we're about to have the next part in our Better Together series. But before we do, two things, actually. The first thing I nearly forgot in the first service, and Chris, you were in the studio earlier, so we just want to welcome you back from your 6 weeks of study leave and your trip to Sierra Leone, which we're excited to hear about. I think we might hear a little bit about that at a vision night we're having next Thursday, which we're all looking forward to. We are really, as a staff team, we're really happy. I'm very happy to have you back here. So yes, next up, we're going to watch a little video clip of a conversation that's been taking place for this series. So we filmed an interview between two people in our community who are, I think, 84 years apart. The entire interview, which is amazing, is on YouTube, but each week we're watching a short snippet. So here's this week's snippet, and then Chris is going to come up and give us today's message. Okay, so we're going to start with Joyce asking a question to Lydia, and then Lydia, if you want to ask your question back.
What did you do for a job?
I used to work for an insurance company, a Canadian company called Sun Life Insurance of Canada, and our building was in just off Trafalgar Square. So that was a bit boring, although I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the people I worked with. And then when I had a baby, when I had my son, my first son, I gave up work. And then I had Gavin, and but then I wanted to do something, and I'd always wanted to work in a shop. And I saw a job advertised for shop assistants in Harrods. Now, do you know anything about Harrods? Well, you must get your mum and daddy to take you to Harrods, because it's a very, very lovely shop. Very, very, very expensive. I worked there for many years, and then my mum got ill. Then I worked in a little local shop that sold nice things, birthday cards and pretty things, and that shop closed down. I went to work in the library. So, but no, I'm not, I haven't had a high-powered job. But there were always jobs with people, and that's what I learned. And I loved working at Harrods. That was really lovely. What would you like to do when you grow up, or haven't you thought that far ahead?
I would like to maybe explore a little bit, and then if I can find a nice creature, I could take a picture of it, and then I could paint it or something.
A creature? What sort of creature?
An animal.
Oh, right. Oh, God. But what do you want to do for a job? Or haven't you thought about that yet?
I haven't thought about that yet.
But you like animals, do you?
And I also like exploring art.
Oh, right. Well, that sounds interesting.
And writing.
Oh, good.
I write 2 pages. I would write 3 pages just for a story and make it as long as I can. But I'm not the best at spelling.
Oh, that doesn't matter.
So I normally have to go up to the teacher and they say, how do you spell think? And I'm like, well, I don't know, because I'm finding very hard to use my F's and and find it very hard to spell things at the moment.
Well, I think a lot of people, I think that some people are good at spelling and some people just aren't. And I didn't think that these days they bothered too much about that. I've always felt that we were always in trouble if we couldn't spell. But I thought now they were more relaxed about it in most schools. But do you read a lot or not?
I like reading, but there is a book in particular that has made me cry, and it's one of my school books. I have two because white is too easy for me. So I have white and I have a book of lime, but the line that I chose isn't that interesting.
Oh dear.
It's about human rights.
Oh gosh.
I'm only a kid.
Oh, that sounds a bit much.
What is your favourite book and why?
I absolutely love that. Yeah, human rights, not very interesting. So it's great to be here this morning. Honestly, it's so good to be back. And I have had a wonderful time over these last few weeks. And I'm so appreciative to Alex and to the team who've done an amazing job over the last few weeks. So thank you so much. And I've watched on from afar as Be Rich has happened, that campaign that we ran to serve our local community, and how the team did such an amazing job and how you all responded so amazingly to that as well. So it's been an absolute joy to watch all of that going on, and I don't take it for granted, that ability. So we had a couple of weeks holiday, and then I was into this four and a half weeks or so of study leave, which I tend to do every couple of years, just a chance to take a step back and reflect and think and read and or plan and all of that sort of stuff. So I don't take that for granted, and I'm so grateful for having had that opportunity to do that. And as Alex rightly said, last week, in fact, this time last week, I was speaking at a church called Regent Road Baptist Church in Freetown, which is the capital city of Sierra Leone, and it's the oldest Baptist church in Africa. And was started over 230 years ago by freed slaves when they moved back to West Africa. And so it's so humbling. I've been there a few times, spoken there a few times. So humbling to be speaking in that kind of environment, standing in the footsteps of all of those who have gone before. But the reason I'm sharing that with you today, and we'll have a chance to talk a lot more about the stories from our West African adventure another time, is because during the service and then after the service, and then we had a meeting with their sort of team afterwards, they just wanted me to say hi to you all. And they wanted to share greetings from our West African friends with all of you here and all of you online as well today. And we have these partnerships, these links now in Sierra Leone with charitable work and with the church there as well. So it's wonderful, isn't it, to think about having friends and partners in other parts of the world. And we have a number of them as a church, one of them now in Sierra Leone. And we're talking today in this series about being better together, about doing life together. And I love that idea that we are doing life together, not just in a community local to us here in Andover, but with people who join us online now all over the place, and indeed with other parts of the world like Sierra Leone. We get to do life together and cheer each other on. And I love that, and we're going to be talking a lot about that this morning. I wonder when you're in an environment, maybe it's on a Zoom meeting, maybe it's at work, maybe it's at college or university or wherever you might be, when they announce that it's group project time. How do you feel when somebody stands at the front of a session like that and says, and now we're going to break into groups to discuss this? I wonder how that makes you feel. I was at a session, one of the other things I got to do on study leave, I got to be in America for a few days for a conference, and I went to a breakout session on adult learning and how adults learn. It was really good. I didn't think I was going to enjoy it because the lady doing it made us do weird things at the beginning of the session, and I thought, this is everything I hate about all of this, but it was fantastic, and in fact, some of the ideas and the thoughts from that we're going to start doing in the way we do our talks and stuff like that. You may even see a little bit of that later on this morning. I will promise you I won't break you into groups. But then she said, and now we're going to break into groups, but it needs to be groups with people you don't know. Go and find people you don't know and break into a group. I wonder how that makes you feel. If you'd been in that environment, my heart sunk at that moment. I'm like, oh, really? Do we really have to do that? Some of us are group work project kinds of people. Some of us love that. Others of us, as soon as a group project or a breakout group is announced, your heart absolutely sinks and you think, this is going to be the worst thing ever. The worst group project I ever had to do was at university. And it wasn't the fact that they broke us into groups for a term to do a project. It was the fact that the way it was brutally marked. Because what they did is at the end of that, they said, right, we're going to give you, as a team, a mark. And you get to decide how that mark is divvied up amongst the members of your team based on how much work each of the members did. Can you imagine that? That was a brutal conversation. But no matter how you feel about group work, we all have to concede that we aren't meant to do life alone, that life is a group project. We're not built to do life alone. And this is not to do with whether you're an introvert or an extrovert or your personality, because regardless of your personality, we all need people in our lives. This has got nothing to do whether you're a Christian or not a Christian. It's the same for all of us. We're all in the same boat with that today. Life is meant to be done with other people. And amazingly, I found this article in yesterday's paper. This is the Daily Telegraph from yesterday, and the article is entitled, "Hallelujah, Going to Church Raises the Spirits." And it starts like this: attending church regularly makes you happier and more optimistic about the future, a new report has suggested. So there's this big survey done of people who go to church and people who don't go to church to assess their mental health. And it says this: over 70% of those who said that their religious background was important to their identity reported having good psychological well-being in the 3 months before the survey, compared to less than half of atheists. That's an extraordinary statistic. And the author of the report says this: while it may be considered unfashionable and outdated, the sense of belonging and purpose that can be provided through religious and spiritual forms of attachment and membership should be better explored by policymakers and practitioners in the sphere of mental health. It's official, and there's loads of surveys that say this. Being a part of a community like a church is good for us. It's good for our mental health. It's good for our well-being. And we often say around here things like this. We often say circles are better than rows. Because this is great. Sitting in a row together or sitting online or whatever it might be, this is great. But it's even better if we go beyond this way of sitting and actually start to do life with people where we can sit in a circle, where we can sit with somebody in a coffee shop, or we can sit in a lounge or around a kitchen table or around a dinner table or whatever it might be. Having people in our lives who know what's going on in our life, who know our story, who know our struggles and our joys, and who we can do life with, isn't optional. It shouldn't be optional, because it makes life better and it makes us better at life. You know, it is in a relationship that faith is grown, because cultivating faith is a communal activity. Circles are better than rows because there are just some things that you and we can't do on our own. Life is supposed to be a group project, and you're not meant to do those things on your own. But how do we find that then? How do we find our people? How do we find a community? What should we be looking for? Those people that we have in our lives to help us with, and what should we be looking to do for other people? Because as we're going to discover actually through the course of this talk, it's when we do this for other people that it comes back to us on the times and the occasions where we need it. So to find out how we do it, and what we should be doing and who we should be doing it with, we're going to go to an ancient letter in the New Testament part of the Bible, written to a bunch of people called the Hebrews, probably people living in Jerusalem who'd become Jesus followers very close to his life and death and resurrection, so some 2,000 years ago. This letter is written to them to encourage them to keep going because they've become Jesus followers, and actually it's been going really well, and loads of them have been doing that. The message of Jesus has spread hugely, and lots of people have started coming to faith, becoming followers of Jesus, but it's gone so well that it's started to garner the attention of religious and secular authorities of the day, and they don't like it. So they start persecuting them. So people, these Jesus followers, were being put in prison, they were being tortured, and in some cases they were being killed. And not unreasonably, those people were kind of going, is this worth it? How do we keep going in the face of this persecution that's coming our way? And so the writer, and we don't know who wrote this letter, so I'm going to keep referring to them as the writer. The writer of this letter to the Hebrews is reminding them about what Jesus has done and why it's worth carrying on, but also saying, if you're going to carry on in the face of this stuff that's going on, if you're going to hold on, here are some things that you need to do together. You need to do together across the community and across generations so that you can stand firm in the face of the struggles. So in this section we're going to look at today, we're going to find 3 things that we are not meant to do alone, that they were not meant to do on their own, that they needed, that we are not meant to do on our own, and that we need. Things that we need to do for others, and we need others to do for us. And as I talk about them, I want to challenge you to be thinking for yourself, do I have people in my life who do this for me? And who am I doing this for in their life? So we're going to look at Hebrews chapter 10 in the New Testament part of the Bible. But just before we get to chapter 10, I want to tell you what the first 9 and a bit chapters of Hebrews have been covering, because it's important information. So the first 9 and 3/4 chapters of Hebrews have been covering how amazing Jesus is. So the writer has been reminding these people why they became Jesus followers in the first place, why Jesus is so amazing, of the incredible things that Jesus has done, his life and his death and his resurrection. And then chapter 10, the verses that we're going to look at today, start with the word therefore. So the first 9 and whatever it is chapters have all been about this vertical relationship that we can have with God because of Jesus, how amazing Jesus is. The first couple of verses we're going to look at summarize all of that, and then say, therefore, here's some things that you need to do. So let's look then at Hebrews chapter 10, and we're going to start at verse 19. So here's the therefore. Therefore, brothers and sisters, since we have confidence to enter the most holy place by the blood of Jesus, by a new and living way open for us through the curtain, that is his body, and since we have a great high priest over the house of God. So here we are, 2 verses summarizing all the 9 and a bit chapters, 10 chapters that have gone before. Therefore, because of what Jesus has done, because we can have confidence to enter into the presence of God, the very presence of God, that's what this means, because Jesus shed his blood on a cross, died in our place, and rose again, because of that, Jesus opened a new and living way for us to have a relationship with God. Not the old way that was to do with religious rituals and cleansing and sacrifices and all this kind of stuff. No, that's gone. There's a new way of relating to God because of Jesus, because of all of that. We don't need priests anymore because Jesus is the great high priest who's made a way for us to have a relationship with God. Because of all of that, and because you are invited into all of that, here are some things that you need to do. This is the pathway to real life. And as we shall discover, there are 3 statements. And here, this is what I learned from my adult learning session, that a visual aid can be really helpful to learning. So I have bought a lettuce because we have now 3 lettuce statements that are being given to us. This is a really bad joke, isn't it? The people that you've got your head in your hands. There are 3 lettuce statements of things we need to do in response to the amazing things. I told my daughter last night, because she asked why I bought a lettuce, because we don't have them very often in our house. She asked why I bought a lettuce, and I told her, and she said, that is really bad. Please don't do that. I shall be so embarrassed. She's sitting over here. I'm not looking at her. She's going to be so embarrassed if you tell that awful dad joke. Anyway, but you are going to remember. You are going to remember the lettuce sermon, okay? 3 lettuce statements that we need to do in response to the amazing thing that Jesus has done. And they are plural. This is the important point. They are let us, Not let you on your own, let us do these things. They are plural, because the best way to grow a relationship with God, wherever you're starting from, whether you'd say, I'm exploring faith, I'm not a Christian, or whether I've been a Christian for years, the best way to grow a relationship to God is to plant yourself into a community with others who are trying to figure out how to do life and how to follow Jesus. So the first one, then, of these 3 letter statements: let us draw near to God with a sincere heart and with a full assurance that faith brings, having our hearts sprinkled to cleanse us from a guilty conscience and have our bodies washed with water. Let us draw near to God. The result of all that's been done by Jesus, all the amazing things that Jesus has done, can be nothing else other than seeking to draw closer to him. That's a natural outworking of a recognition of what Jesus has done. I mean, just think about this for a moment. Think about something amazing or someone amazing that you love, that you think is just incredible. Aren't you drawn to that thing? It's why Ruth, my wife, and I keep going back to the Lake District for our holidays, because we are drawn to this incredible environment that is so beautiful, and we love climbing up the mountains and looking out over it all, that we keep getting drawn back there. Because it's so amazing. Think about somebody you admire, a musician, actor, a sports person, whatever it might be. Aren't you drawn to them? You read the stuff about them, want to know about them. It's a natural outworking of somebody or something amazing that you are drawn to it. And it should be the same with Jesus. And I just want to say, if you're not a Jesus follower, you're so welcome, whether you're online or on site. We want to be a place where you can explore faith. But the reason we want to do that is because we are amazed by Jesus and we want to introduce you to him. That's our passion, because we have found something so extraordinary and life-giving and life-enhancing and life-enriching in him. We would love you to experience that too. That's why we're passionate to introduce you to Jesus. We'd like to introduce you to him. And for all of us, whether we're new to this Jesus following thing, whether we're exploring faith, or whether we're a Jesus follower for ages, we should be drawn to Jesus. And I want to give you a challenge here. If you don't feel yourself drawn to Jesus right now, you're not looking at him hard enough. Okay, you need to think again, reflect again, read again, watch The Chosen again, that amazing TV series. If you're not feeling drawn to Jesus, you're not looking at him hard enough. He's an amazing person, and he draws us to him. And we all need this. And we all need this full assurance that faith brings, right? And it's as we look at Jesus, as we reflect on what he's done, that it builds assurance in us. It builds faith in us. And we need that right now, don't we? An assurance that is rooted in Jesus, that transcends our circumstances. The full assurance that faith brings can give a foundation for life, and we get it by reflecting on Jesus and what he has done. But it's so much better if we do that together. Let us draw near to God together. It's why we meet like this. It's why we sing, because we want to reflect on the amazing nature of God and of what Jesus has done. So we need to help each other, and we encourage each other, by the way, by showing up, by being involved, by joining in on the live chat. We encourage each other to draw closer to God and grow in our faith. Growing our relationship with God is a we thing. We do it together. So I just want to pause for a second and ask you this. Who's doing this for you? Helping you draw near to God? And who are you doing this for? Letter statement number 2 comes in the next verse. Let us hold unswervingly to the hope we profess, for he who promised is faithful. Let us hold on to hope. That's the second thing for us to do together. Life is difficult, isn't it? Oftentimes. Circumstances are tough. Right now, the world feels dark. Holding on is hard, and holding on to hope in the midst of all of that is hard, so we need each other. And interesting, the words here for hold, let us hold, that is a present tense word in the original language. So it's like keep on holding on. This is not something you do once and then you're sorted. You've got to keep on working and encouraging and helping one another to hold on. And unswervingly literally means that which doesn't bend. So how to stand firm and stand upright in the face of all of life's circumstances and not to be moved when things hit us or situations arise. It's encouraging one another to hold on, even when we feel like letting go. And I want to say this, don't wait. If you wait to find people who are going to help you hold on when your life is at rock bottom, it'll be too late. You need to find them before you get to that point. It's a proactive thing. If you start looking around when you're at rock bottom for people, oftentimes they won't be there. So you need to work on it now before you get to that point. And it is a proactive thing. Do it for other people and they will be there for you. I've seen this so many times in church life over the 20, 30 years, whatever it is, I've been involved in church leadership. The people who help others to do this sort of thing, when they need it, when they hit rock bottom, they have people around them helping them do it. You know, the best way to ensure you've got people there when you hit rock bottom is to be there for people when they're needing help, to hold on. So again, let's pause. Who's doing this for you? But more importantly, who are you doing this for? Third and final letter statement comes in verse 24. And let us consider how we may spur one another on towards love and good deeds, not giving up meeting together as some are in the habit of doing, but encouraging one another, and all the more as you see the day approaching. Let us spur each other on. Let us consider, literally means let us notice and pay attention to. That means prioritize. Let us prioritize how we might spur one another on. To what, by the way? To love and good deeds, to doing stuff. And again, this is very active. This is not passive. How can we spur each other on to be the people that God has made us to be and longs for us to be, to realize our potential? And to do all of that, we need other people. We need people to push us and to challenge us and to encourage us and to inspire us. And one of the ways we do that is by being together. It should not surprise us. It always amazes me when the world catches up with what God has already known. When you read articles like that Daily Telegraph article saying, oh my goodness me, isn't it amazing that when people gather together in Christian community, it's better for them when they do life on their own. I always imagine God going, yeah, no kidding. I've been trying to tell you this for 2,000 years. And this word is interesting here. Where are we? Not giving up meeting together literally means forsake. It's the same word that Jesus used when he was on the cross and he cried out, my God, why have you forsaken me? That's how strong a word this is. Do not forsake meeting up together. So there we are. 3 things that I think we all need to do life well. To do life together. I think actually these three things are a great recipe for life. And actually, again, I think you can, if you say, well, I'm not a Christian, I don't believe this Jesus kind of stuff, that's all great. We'd love to help with that. We'd love to introduce you, all of that I've said. But you could do these 3 things anyway, and I think it would make life better and make you better at life. But if you are a Christian, then these are kind of commands from God, I guess we would say. So 3 things that make a great recipe for life. Draw near to God, hold on to hope, spur one another on. Draw near to God, hold on to hope, spur one another on. And they are all plural. Let us do these things together. Life is a group project, and we need to do these things for and to one another. And we really need it for growing faith, because cultivating faith is a communal activity. We need to do these things for others, and we need others to do them for us. And if I can read your minds for a moment, I wonder if you're thinking right now, that's great, but how? Where do I find these people? Maybe you're thinking, I don't have these people. Where do I find them? How do I find them? Here's 2 key things. Number 1, if you show up in the right places, eventually you'll find the right people. If you show up in the right places, eventually you will find the right people. If you show up, if you participate, if you come along week by week, or you show up digitally on YouTube in the chat or on Facebook, or however you do that, if you keep showing up, eventually you will find the right people. If you show up and participate, If you serve on our dream team of volunteers around here, you'll start to meet people, and eventually you'll start to form deeper connections with some of them. Why don't you try out a connect group, a smaller group of people that meet during the week? Why don't you try that out? And by the way, nobody's going to be offended if you try it out and you say, oh, that's not really for me, and you go try something else. If you keep on showing up, you might not find them straight away, but if you keep on showing up and doing the right things, eventually you will find the right people. And if you start doing this for others, it will circle back to you. It will. So number one, just keep showing up in the right places. Keep doing this for other people. Number two, do stuff. All of this we've looked at this morning is active. Draw near, hold on, spur. All active words. To what? To love and good deeds, the writer to the Hebrews says. You're supposed to do stuff. If you're passive and sit back and wait for this stuff to happen to you, for someone somewhere to do this to you, it won't happen. If you take a step forward and you start looking for opportunities to do this for others, when you need it, it will come to you. And you know, part of doing that is to offer encouragement, not critique. You know, one of the ways that you start doing this stuff for other people, just be an outstanding encourager. Because everybody loves an outstanding encourager. A friend of mine says, be a radiator, not a drain. So radiate life and energy out. Don't suck it out of the room as soon as you walk in. If you offer encouragement, rather, you know, we're being encouraged all the time to offer critique for everything. And it's so dangerous. And we can so easily fall into the trap of thinking it's our right to give feedback to everybody on what they're doing. It's not. And it's not healthy for relationships. Be an encourager, and I promise you, you'll find great people. Number two, create, don't commentate. This is something we're encouraged to commentate on how other people are doing life all the time. You know, a sports commentator offers an outstanding view of the game, but does absolutely nothing to progress the ball down the field. They're not on the pitch doing the stuff. Create, don't commentate. Don't offer commentary on everybody else is doing life. Create life. Host a connect group. Don't just lead, don't just be a part of one. Offer to facilitate a connect group, not just show up to it and let somebody else do it for you. Be involved, and you will create community, not just commentate on life. Now, we want to help with this. It's our heart's desire all the time. How can we help? How can we help? How can we help? We've created a really simple way for you to take a step today into all this. And we just want to encourage everybody to do this, by the way. So I'm going to come back in a couple of minutes' time, a few minutes' time, after we've sung another couple of songs and just had chance to absorb this and to pray and to worship God together and thank God together, and just give you a really simple way through a QR code or a piece of paper to just let us know you would like a conversation about doing this, being in community, growing faith in community. We have a wonderful lady on our team around here called Becky Banks. She's our Next Steps lead. So she helps us all take next steps in our journey of faith. And she would love to have a conversation with you. And if you just let Becky know your name and your email, she'll get in touch and you can have a very non-pressure, low-key conversation about how we might be able to help and how you might be able to take a step into community. So we're going to talk about how to do that in a few minutes' time. But just before I do that, I want to finish with this. What's our big takeaway for today, apart from now slightly grotty-looking lettuce because it's been out all morning? What's our key takeaway for today? Cultivating faith is a communal activity. Let us do for others and allow ourselves to be done too. Let's pray. Heavenly Father, we thank you so much for the gift of Jesus, who's done just these amazing things for us, made a way for us to be in a relationship with you, made a way for us to enter into that relationship with you, who just gave everything for us. Lord, help us to respond to what he has done by looking to join in together. Lord, help us to see how we can spur others on, how we can help others draw near to you, how we can help people hold on to hope even in the midst of the most difficult of circumstances. Lord God, we thank you that growing faith is a communal activity. Show us how we play our part in that, we pray, and help us to be the right people for others and to find the right people for ourselves to do life with. We pray it in Jesus' precious name. Amen. Why don't we stand together? Just allow God to continue sealing this message in your hearts today. Allow God to draw you close to him, even in these moments as we sing together, as we join in together. And then we'll come back and we'll give you that easy step.
All my life you have been so good. With every breath that I am able, oh, I will sing of the goodness of God. Sing all my life. 'Cause all my life you have been faithful. All my life you have been so good. With every breath that I am able, oh, I will sing of the goodness of God. I will sing of the goodness of God. I will sing, I will sing the goodness of God. the goodness of God. Thousand generations falling down in worship to sing the song of ages to Lamb. And all who've gone before us, and all who will believe, will sing the song of ages to Lamb. 'Cause your name is the highest, your name is the greatest, your name stands above them all thrones and dominions, all powers and positions, your name stands above them all, and the angels cry, holy, all creation cries, holy, you are lifted high, holy, holy forever. 'Cause if you've been forgiven, if you've been redeemed, sing the song forever to Him. If you walk in freedom, if you bear His name, sing the song forever to Him. Yes, we'll sing the song forever and amen, and the angels cry, holy, all creation cries, holy, you are lifted high, holy, holy forever. Hear your people sing, holy, to the King of Kings, holy, you will always be, holy, holy forever. 'Cause your name is the highest, your name is the greatest, your name, it stands above them all thrones and dominions, all powers and positions, your name stands above them all, your name is the highest, your name is the greatest, your name, it stands above them all thrones and dominions, all powers and positions,
please take your seats just for a minute. We're going to sing one more song in just a few moments' time. But this next step that I promised.
Okay, so we are going to be talking about. Oh, hello. We are going to be talking about here in the studio the same thing that Chris is actually talking about in there. So we want to make it really practical and helpful for everybody to be able to take a next step in this area of cultivating community and growing in our faith together. I should also just mention Ivan. Ivan hasn't just
random place.
Yeah, Ivan's just appeared out of the ground. Ivan is joining me because Chris is in the other room. So welcome, Ivan, who leads up our youth and next gen ministry. Sorry, that must have been very strange. It's like, woo, Ivan's here. So we want to make it really practical and helpful for you to take a next step in this area. So we've created a little survey type thing, and you can see hopefully in a moment the QR code will appear on your screen. So if you're watching on your telly, you can scan that QR code with your phone. If you've got the live chat open, I've put a link in the live chat. I've just put a link in the live chat to the survey, and basically we're wanting to help you to take a next step in this area. If you're looking to find community to help you grow in your faith, if you're looking to find a group of people, maybe a small group of people that can help you gather together and explore faith together and help you grow, and you can help them grow. Maybe you want to join a team. Maybe you want to grow just in this area of community and growing faith together. There's this little survey that we've made. You can access it via the QR code, via the live chat link, and we would love to know. There's a little yes, no, I'd like to take a next step in this area, and then there's a put your name and your email address. We would love you to do that. There's other questions below that you can either fill in if you want to, or if you'd rather not, that's completely okay. But if you just want to do the yes, I'd like to find connection in this area in relation to my faith, and then put your name and your email address, and then you scroll up to the bottom and you hit submit at the bottom. That is absolutely fine if you don't want to answer those other questions. But then one of our staff members called Becky, who works in this whole area of next steps, helping people to grow in their faith, she will get in contact with you and help you to find a place where you can gather together with people. That might be on a team, that might be in a connect group during the week, where you can journey in your faith and help them journey in their faith to really grow together. So we would love you to do that if you want to do that this morning. We realise for some people, if the technology is a little bit of a stretch, if the QR code, if you can't scan the QR code, or doing the survey is a bit more of a stretch, I would say to you, get in contact with the church office via the telephone number or email or via the website, but you can ring in. That's absolutely fine. If you know what our details are, our telephone number is 01264 392 032. That is the number to get in touch with the church office. That's 01264 392 032. So if you don't have any of those technological means, you can do that via phone during the week. I wouldn't ring now because we probably won't pick up, but during the week. And we would love to talk to you about that. So we're really keen on encouraging everyone, no matter where we are, whether we're just exploring faith, whether we've been Christians for years, helping you take a next step in your journey of faith. So we would love people to do that.
Can I just add in there, this is not age sensitive either.
Absolutely,
you know, whether you are a young person and you want, I mean, we've got Harry doing a fantastic job doing all the live streaming this morning.
Absolutely.
There's always a place for you to be serving and being part of a team. We've got a college connect group, we've got a youth group connect group.
Yeah.
Like there's a place for everybody. And that's, you know, whatever age, definitely ask parents so you can scan the QR code and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
But definitely let us know. We'd love to get you plugged in.
Absolutely,
Everybody has a place somewhere and can be involved.
Absolutely. We'd love you to do that and let us know so we can help you. We're just about to be joined.
Chris Porter's going to try and sneak in here.
Senior Chris Porter.
I'm a bit large to sneak in subtly, aren't I, really?
Actually, he's lost a lot of weight. He's doing really, really well.
I have lost quite a bit.
Yeah,
A bit more to go. But
Well,
yeah, no,
not too
definitely.
much, 'cause
Definitely. I know what the scales say, and there's a bit more to go.
Welcome to our weight loss program. So what we are going to do right now, this feels like a party going on in the studio. I'm loving this.
We've never actually been able to get the three of us
No,
into the room.
this
I'm
has
really
never
This is
excited.
extremely dangerous, I think.
Yeah, we're all just going to have a party. So now we're going to chat through a few questions that we've got that digs a little bit deeper in Chris's message and this idea of cultivating faith as a community. And now Chris spoke about those awkward Zoom meetings where they say, "Oh, we're going to send you into a breakout room," which is you just go, "Oh," with a whole bunch of people. Well, maybe you don't.
It's
Maybe
literally
you love that.
my worst
I
nightmare.
want to ask Ivan this question. So in what scenarios do you like working in a team versus not like being put in a team?
It's when you have you ever been to those? I haven't been to an interview for a while. I've been very blessed here. But when they you do group interviews and they're like, "We'd like you to find somebody and partner up," and you're like, "I don't know this dude from Adam. How am I supposed to?" But it's the whole thing. I find that really awkward. Or when they do, let's introduce each other in that awkward Zoom call, and nobody knows each other. So you go into a breakout room with 3 other people who don't know each other, and then it's like, well, who's going to be the brave one here? This is really awkward, isn't it? So you're trying to figure out how to, because it says a lot at in that first thing, doesn't it? Who's going to be the one that's taking the lead? Who's the confident one, or who's just blagging their way through? But in terms of in person, that's where I'm project stuff when we do together, where I can get a group of team around and we can smash out a huge project. I'm all for that.
Yeah, and I think what you've touched on there is really important. This idea of that first meeting, that ice-breaking moment, that when you're meeting someone for the first time or you're trying to have a conversation for the first time, is really, I think, where the difficulty is, isn't it? And where that, and I guess some of our Britishness as well, we're just like, "Oh, this is just really awkward. I don't want to do this." So, and I think I want to pull on the thread that you brought up, Chris, in your talk of just show up in the right place and you will find the right people. I think that's really key. And although it's hard and it takes effort, and it takes a lot of effort to go and meet people for the first time and show up in places that you maybe never gone to before, or events you've never been to before, meet people that you haven't met before. So for some of us, that is a real barrier and really hard. But I think you're right. It's when we take those risks and when we show up in the right places, we do build those relationships, don't we? Have you got any advice for people that would struggle in those that first getting over that barrier?
Well, I'm really passionate about it because I mean, people oftentimes think if you do the sort of thing that I do, like preachers, that I must be a hugely extrovert character who loves going. I really don't, honestly. The prospect of going to a wedding where it's my wife's family and I don't know anybody or whatever. I hate all of that and making small talk with people I don't know. I can do it, but I'm not comfortable with it. Here's what I think is this is why I think serving on a team is simply the best way. If you're a little bit shyer or you're not, you don't just want to walk into a setting where you've got to talk to people who you don't know socially and you wonder after the first 5 minutes, are you going to have anything else to talk about and how do you leave the conversation and move on to something? All of that really awkwardness. Serving on a team is such a great way to get over that because you've got something to do. And actually you've got something to do, but you start building connection as you do it. So like serving in the kids work, for example, here, or the youth work, or on the welcome team, you've got stuff to do, but as you do it, you start to just chat to people because you're putting things away. I think that breaks down so much of that awkwardness, and it's why my dream and vision for our church is that everybody who's a regular part of our church, young person, adult, whatever, is on a team, because I think it does this. Yes, of course it helps the church and means we can do the stuff, which is great, but actually it's way more of a blessing to the people doing it than I think to what they're actually doing, to be honest. So that's one of the things I really had in my mind and my heart when we were talking about showing up in the right places. Just get involved in something. And the church is a great place to do that, but it doesn't have to be the church. We have plenty of people who volunteer in food bank here in Andover. There's loads of volunteering opportunities. I think the church is an easy way to do it, but so that would be a huge thing, I would say. And again, we could just help with that survey you were just introducing there now. Becky will get in touch with people can say, and again, I'm aware we've got a lot of people digitally via YouTube who might not be local to us and all that kind of stuff. There's still ways to do it.
Absolutely.
We still have ways that you can serve. We have people doing our live chat from Cape Town in South Africa, and that means they're involved even in a little community talking about the live chat. So there are ways to do it, and again, we don't have to spend hours talking about that now. Just
Yeah.
let us help you.
And we do online connect groups.
Yep,
Like
yep.
there is, you know,
Yep.
as we're talking about that. And actually, I have found sometimes those can be a little easier.
Yeah.
Because you're in your own space.
Yes.
You like there's almost a bit of distance.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
That's a
you know,
great
you can
shout.
you can almost like turn off the screen for every now and then, just like I need a break.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and that's really, really helpful. We're very blessed to have the capability to do that.
Yeah.
And a great shout out about this is a great way to host.
Yeah.
You know, connect groups as well. If
Yes.
if you're in a distance and you're like, I could do it online actually.
Yes.
Yeah,
It's a
yeah,
great shout
yeah.
to be involved.
Yeah.
So my second question to us this morning is, in a world where we now have social media and so much technology which enables us to stay in contact and stay
Yes.
connected with so many people,
Yes.
hundreds of people,
Yes.
And yet I find that quite draining.
Yes,
You have
yes.
so many connections to so many
Yeah.
people, and you almost run out of your social energy
Yeah.
almost.
Yeah.
How do we cultivate the face-to-face,
Yes.
the ones where we are going deeper in our faith, the
Yeah.
ones where we are doing life together? How can we prioritize and cultivate those ones that give to us as well as we give to? How can we cultivate those whilst not, it's such a hard thing.
Yeah. Well, for me, I think the key is recognizing what social media is good for.
Yes.
And actually, so I know lots of people who are doing away with it altogether, which is perfectly good strategy. But social media is good for just seeing what other people are doing in their lives, and I love that. So,
Yes, of course,
we're talking about Sierra Leone. I've got loads of Facebook friends in Sierra Leone,
Yes,
and I love seeing what's going on in Sierra Leone.
Absolutely, yeah.
It's great for that, right? And it's great for just keeping up with people and that kind of stuff. Great for making new connections with people,
Yes, of course.
and all of that. So that's great, but that's what it's good for.
Yes.
It's not good for the deep kind of circle, not row type of relationship that we've been talking about this morning. So by all means, enjoy social media for what it's good for, but recognize its limitations and make sure, my thing is, make sure you are prioritizing investing in those other relationships. As you're, the doom scrolling, as you're scrolling through your social media,
Yes.
maybe sometimes think to yourself, I could phone somebody here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or I could actually book a coffee with somebody here, or
Yes.
whatever.
Yeah.
So for me, that's it. Recognizing what it's good for, enjoying that,
Yes.
but recognizing it's not enough. So if that's all that's going on in your life and that's a priority for your life, you are going to miss out. So prioritize that other stuff.
I like treating it as a prompt. Like if I'm like
Yeah,
Facebook is
it's
really
a good
good.
shout.
Or it's like, oh yeah, I really need to get in touch with that
Yeah.
person. Or I haven't seen them in ages. Now's a good time, and actually put down the phone and
Yeah.
go from there.
Yeah.
I found that hugely beneficial. And prioritizing. I'm very fortunate to be in a connect group with this gentleman over here, and that is hugely refreshing. So like that is the priority for me in the week. Like if I can get there, that's the refreshing. That's the energy. Filling my cup, and then kind of go, dude. I mean, we have to be on social media for our jobs, and it's a huge blessing. It is draining,
Yeah.
but having
absolutely,
that stopping point where you go, I don't need to look at it right now. These are the
yeah.
people that are going to say, hey, great job, or we really appreciated this. Can we be praying for you? How can we be praying for you? What's going on? Those are really refreshing moments, and those cultivating those healthy relationships are really key.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great stuff. Wonderful. So thank you, gentlemen, for your input to that.
That's been
absolutely
fun.
Brilliant. Yeah, absolutely. So a couple of things to talk to everybody. We have a vision night coming up. And a vision night is where this vision night coming up this week there's going to be an extended time of worship and prayer. So we're really going to dig into that, singing together and praying together. So the vision night will be on site and online. So if you can't make it into the building, you can sign up either via Church Suite or via our church website, or ringing into the office. You can sign up and join in via Zoom from your home. But we would really encourage people this week to try and make it on site if you can, because we're gonna lean into some song worship together and some prayer in the room, and we would love it to get as many people in the room as possible. So we'd love you to come and join us for that. It's on Thursday evening, 8 p.m. here in the building. But like I said, if you can't make it into the building, it will still be on Zoom, and you can join in there. But please do sign up so we can send you the link. One other thing to mention is next Sunday afternoon we've got our Songs of Praise service, so that's at 4 p.m. Next Sunday afternoon, so we'd love you to join us for that. That's some slightly more traditional songs, but a great interview, inspiring talk, and a free hot drink and some cake and afterwards, so we'd love you to join us.
We've
for
got a
that.
really great interview for Songs of Praise next week. The person being interviewed doesn't know it yet.
Oh, excellent.
The person does.
Oh, okay. He's about to say no when we're off air.
Excellent. So
I bet
next
you're the
week,
best person to interview you.
it may or may not be Ivan next Sunday afternoon. Thank you so much for joining us, everyone. We've loved having you with us this morning. Take care. Stick with us on social media throughout the week if you're looking for events or things to know. This week on social media, we're going to start pushing out our Christmas information. So stay with us on socials for that. And we would love to see you again next week for this. Great stuff. Thank you, gents. Thank
Bye,
you, everybody.
everybody.
See you later.
Take care.